play, but I want to focus here, Fuzzy Belvedere, on Indiana Jones because this seems to be a title that is on everyone's lips, whether it's Games Radar, whether it's Jez Corden talking about it, whether it's Digital Foundry, whether it's IGN. It does seem to be one of those games that is on the short list for many of the journos as their game of the year. And you know what? After 50 plus hours of playing it, who wants to start and start revisiting all the other places where I missed stuff? I can assure you that they are correct. This game is a phenomenal story. It makes you feel like Indiana Jones. And you know, truth of the matter is, I in my mind said, I wonder if it would have been better or different in third person. And you know something? Machine Games got it right because it really does need to be in first person to give you that in the shoes of Indiana Jones type of feeling. But the story that I want to focus on here is, and I'm using Games Radar. So this was posted December 28th. And it says Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was successful enough that Disney reportedly picked up the phone and wants more. Now, if you folks remember last week, I broke a story right here with Fuzzy Belvedere talking about Indiana Jones and its potential trilogy, right? Well, that's starting to make the rounds. Games Radar was one of the places that talked about it. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Con Siren posted this 2 days ago from gamesradar.com. And I just want to read like a small snippet from it. And of course, again, this Jez Corden is the source behind this. It says Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has been a pretty great game, but it's also been seemingly a great success as rights holder. Disney reportedly wants more Indiana Jones games in the future. That comes courtesy of Windows Central journalist and leaker Jez Corden, who has said he heard that Disney picked up the phone and wants more Indiana Jones games in an episode of the Xbox 2 podcast, weeks after Machine Games and Bethesda launch their own first-person take on the iconic Tomb Raider's adventures. Now, Fuzzy, this is, again, great news because, of course, more Indiana Jones games means that it was successful financially. It was critically a success. And mind you, it still has to release on a PlayStation or the PlayStation 5 later next year in the spring. Now, I actually think, based on some of the stuff we're hearing about the Switch 2, that this could be ported to the Switch 2 at some point because supposedly, and again, this is just a rumor, folks, that when it's docked, it's as powerful as an Xbox Series S. When it's outside of it's in handheld mode, it's more powerful than a PS4 Pro. That is the rumor for the Switch. So I think that they might be able to get this game running. And if they do, rest assured, Indiana Jones is going to show up on the Switch 2. And it just makes financial sense. And if that's the case, well, now Disney is making money here, there, and everywhere. But I have a story here that was posted by Ecstasies. Now, Ecstasies is someone I talk about on a regular basis. He was on fire this weekend with story after story after story, and he has tons of industry connections. Well, he posted something regarding Indiana Jones, and I want to read it. He says, not only is Disney thrilled with the performance of Indiana Jones, but the numbers don't lie. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle ranked as second best-selling video game in the United States the week ending of December 14th. It was only surpassed by the sales giant Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This shows that the legendary archaeologist is not only still relevant, but that he can open a good saga in the market, suggesting, Fuzzy, that I'm onto something with my trilogy claim. What does this mean for the future of the franchise, he asks. Jez Corden has already teased that they're not done with Indiana Jones. And with this level of success, it's clear that Disney has big plans. More Indiana Jones games are coming. Well, look, I've made you fine folks wait long enough. So now I'm going to just drop the bomb onto you that was dropped onto me. Now, how did this whole news bomb that I'm about to drop happen? Well, I reached out to my good friend, and they basically said, and what I wasn't asking about Indiana Jones. I was asking about a potential Game Pass drop for the rumored Dev Direct third week into January. I wanted to get some context because, again, thanks to Pong Soul and several people in the DM that we're in, Fuzzy Belvedere, there are all the Transformer games that are available via the app. So it seems like they could very well, in fact, be a huge dump of games going to Activision games going to Game Pass. So I was specifically asking about, is this something that they have heard? And they had no information on that. I'm still waiting for some clarification. But I'm going to read the text directly that was sent to me. This wasn't DM. This is text. So the person that I'm talking about, I know them. So this is why you can bank on that this being true. He says, I do, however, have a tidbit for you regarding Indiana Jones. It turns out not only was there a 3-game deal signed with Disney and Todd Howard, they already have 3 scripts turned in for editing. Story outlines for a trilogy are already written. I did not know that until this weekend. End quote. And there it is, folks. Not only was I correct with the original breaking story about there being a trilogy, apparently, and according to the source that I trust indubitably, they have 3 scripts already turned in for editing, and the story outlines for a complete trilogy in the franchise. Fuzzy, this is big news. This is big news because I personally could not be happier for everyone at Machine Games. I couldn't be happier for Todd Howard of getting this done because he is one of the biggest Indiana Jones fans. And I cannot get again, it's hard not to get excited if you are an Indiana Jones fan, whether you be on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. Let's get your thoughts.
Well, it definitely fits for what they were saying with spinning up a second team over at Machine Games. Like, you wouldn't just do it if you're just working on the DLC. It seemed like there was definitely a roadmap for more Indiana Jones games. And great news that they had so much success that Disney's like, yep, we want more. So, man, this is going to be a testament on licensed games on Xbox. I know Phil wasn't the biggest fan of that. You know, Blade was probably something that was already in the works, much like Indy was prior to the acquisition. And he kind of has to go with that. You know, you don't want to break a contract with those licensed IPs. So go ahead and do it. And to have this type of success with Indiana Jones to the point where Disney's like, how fast can you make some more? Like, I'm wondering if this is one of those things where they see that how this game was crafted could be something that they could use for the movies that didn't seem to do as well in the box office on the most recent one in comparison. Like this, and a lot of people have already said this would actually be probably a better movie than what they recently released if they, you know, crafted or cut it down to be like for a movie, you know, script and everything. So the fact that this interactive game does so well that Disney is like, definitely get some more of these out there. And for a game that, it missed the cutoff for, you know, the game of the year for, you know, a couple of award shows and things like that. But it's going to get its shine at some of the ones that wait until after January, as far as for looking back at the whole year as a whole for 2024. Yeah. This is awesome. Like having them have a team that's going to be focused on Wolfenstein, have a team that's focused on indie, and we could see. And now I know you had made mention before, like when we had like talked about this before we had any confirmation, like, well, what would they do as far as like if they were to release another indie? Would that be another 5 years, 6 years or so? Because they worked on this for a good bit. And I think more and more after hearing your side of it, as far as where, because they've already crafted a lot of the foundation for this game, it's not like they have to go back to the starting line. They could probably get something churned out in 3 or 4 years or something like that. So it could be a faster turnaround. And having this world where you can do more exploration, have a bigger tie-in where, now I haven't rolled credits yet on this one. I'm about halfway through, just about finished with Giza. I have a little bit of a bug I gotta kind of work through because I fast traveled back to burn some of the propaganda posters, so I may have screwed up my own save. But yeah, this game is awesome, and the fact that they're going to make more of them, and this was like a surprise. Like I was not expecting that much from this game. Like honestly, I just figured, okay, first person, Uncharted, or first person Tomb Raider, and it would be a nice experience. I figured probably be like a 20-hour game, on rails, and it's none of that. I mean, you can speed through if you want to, but there's just so much stuff that you can explore. The visuals, like I shout out to Digital Foundry for recognizing or putting the focus on how they did the ray tracing and the specular lighting and all of the other, goodies that you see visually. Whether you're on console, it looks phenomenal on console, but you could spec it up or basically turn up all the bells and whistles based on your PC, and it's even better. Like there's usually not that, distinct of a break between them. But yeah, if you have the card and the horsepower in your PC, you can make this thing pretty much look like it's actual, like either photorealism or like a movie, just about, between the lighting and the facial detail and the foliage that you're walking through. And yeah, like I'm so glad that they're making more of these. Like that's another thing to add to the roadmap for Xbox. Like, figure every 3 to 5 years, hey, we got another Indiana Jones mixed in there as well, along with an upcoming Halo, an upcoming Forza, Horizon, and upcoming Gears. And yeah, this is just amazing. So yeah, having a trilogy, I'm happy for Xbox right now. I'm happy for Machine Games, and just happy for my Game Pass subscription. Just having this, day one, being able to play it. This is awesome.
You know what? You're not wrong. But again, I think the picture you're painting really is what's impressive here. Like Indiana Jones comes out, and look, I know Hargeet is in the chat, probably listening, and he's still in his feelings, and he's not wrong for it, about it getting out before December so it could find its way into the Game Awards. Because again, I really do believe this, folks, and I don't think I need Digital Foundry or Games Radar or even Jez Corden to tell me that this game would have not mopped the floor with everything that was out there based on its reception. I don't need anybody to tell me. I played the game. I put over 50 hours in. I completed it, and I got to get back in there to get all the things I missed, as well as mop up the achievements. I do want to, at some point, get 1,000 out of 1,000. That's how much I really enjoyed this game. But keeping it laser focused onto Indiana Jones, I think that we could see a new Indiana Jones. And again, please, this is just an opinion, folks. It's not factoids. But I think 3 to 4 years is pretty much a lock, because they have the assets, right? And based on what was given to me over the weekend to talk about, was that they have turned in 3 scripts that are, being reviewed as we speak. And those 3 scripts will eventually be a trilogy. And do they have to take 5 or 6 years? I don't think that they do, Fuzzy Belvedere. I think that they have the graphical assets. I think they know exactly how the gameplay is going to go. Are they going to maybe redefine it? Possibly, maybe tweak it a bit, possibly. But I found absolutely nothing wrong with anything that I played in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And look, even if it takes 3 years, even if it takes 4 years, look how many games are going to be filling in those gaps. And you said it before, we talk about Halo that's coming out, right? Supposedly the rumor is that they're redoing Combat Evolved for a launch in 2026 in Unreal Engine 5. That's a rumor, right? You got Gears E-Day, you got Forza, you have all of these big first-party games, Perfect Dark, you got Fable next year. But in between those games and the next Indiana Jones, you have Starfield DLC, you got continued support with whatever racer they have out. You have continued support in what they're doing in Elder Scrolls Online. You still have to get Elder Scrolls 6. You still got to get Fallout 5. Like, just think about this for a second, folks. It is bonkers how many first-party games and how many first-party franchises that they have ready to release 1 year after another. It is insane. And more Indiana Jones is such a great thing. Like I said, I couldn't be happier for Todd Howard, for Machine Games, for Bethesda.